This week we're looking at music videos. Why should filmmakers shoot them, along with some tips at the end. Hello, my name is Simon Cade and this is DSLRguide. So I think music videos are a really nice compromise between the freelance filmmakers who are shooting corporate videos, weddings, and also the kind of narrative independent filmmakers who are shooting short films and maybe even feature films. Because a music video can tell just as much of a story, it can be just as creative as a short film, but the difference is that it's a whole lot easier to get funding for a music video compared to just a kind of standalone short film. So these are my reasons why I think filmmakers should give music videos a try. Now the first thing is that it's a really good way to practice filmmaking in general, because by limiting yourself to the length of a song, around 3.5 minutes, it's a really good way to practice that concise storytelling. Simply trying to fit a good story into such a small time frame will definitely teach you a lot about conveying your ideas in a concise way, and I think it will definitely help you to realise that the core elements of a story are the most important things. Because I know with my films, I'll often spend too much time focusing on the specific things and little details, when actually the root of my problem is, of course, the root of most films, which is the script and the kind of overall concept in the first place. That is where the problems were. And of course the other limiting thing about music videos is that you can't use dialogue. Now I did a whole video about visual storytelling, which I'll put in the blog post. And the benefit to avoiding dialogue completely is that it forces us to look for another way to tell the story visually. Rather than just using lazy expositional dialogue, we have to look for a visual way to show that information rather than just telling the audience directly. And I think if you can get good at visual storytelling, then that will definitely help you when you do get the chance to work on a dialogue film. Now of course the time restriction and the lack of audio also have their own little benefits. I mean, for a start, you don't need a sound recordist on set, and you don't need anyone to do sound design, and you've also got your music already sorted out, so that's a plus. And the other thing is that with songs being so short, it generally just means that you don't have to spend so much time on the project. People often spend years of their life working on a feature-length film, but you could probably do a whole bunch of music videos in the time that someone makes a feature-length film. I definitely find that the time I learn most is when I get to watch the final results of a project a few weeks after I'm finished working on it. Because often you only see some of the improvements that you could have made in retrospect, when you get to see the final completed project. So while I definitely think that a beginner would learn a lot from doing a feature-length film, I think it would be a lot more efficient learning for them to make shorter projects, because you get to spend more time looking over the finished work before you then move on to the next one. And that quick turnaround also means that you get more consistent content for your blog or for your YouTube channel. And it also means that you get the chance to work with lots of different people. So let's say that you have contacts with 10 different musicians. Well, the chances are at least one of them is going to come back to you for some more work. And of course, there's always the chance that they will blow up and get really successful. And at that point, you might find that you get to work with them again, but with a much bigger budget. And of course, there are lots of opportunities with all of those bands for them to bring some eyes to your work, whether it's kind of through their own musician circles and their friends who are other musicians, which could get you more work, or whether it's just kind of general public getting you some real eyes on your work, could be a really good opportunity. Now, I think that music videos are a great crossover between freelance filmmaking and the more narrative side. If you're really passionate about telling stories and the creative side, but you find yourself stuck doing corporate videos and kind of boring commercial stuff, maybe even weddings, then you might find that music videos are a really nice way to add that creativity while still paying the bills. Because there probably aren't that many people who would be happy to finance a full standalone short film, but there are lots of people out there writing songs, and they'll definitely need videos to go with those songs. But of course, finding a musician who is successful enough to actually pay for a film shoot is the difficult part. So you might have to start out doing some projects for free or on a shoestring budget, and then just kind of gradually work your way up. For the music video that I shot with Alicia Catling, we used equipment that I already had and found locations that were free to use. So we ended up spending just about £50 on the whole film, and that was mostly just for costumes. So now let's get into some tips. Now the first thing is creativity. So a music video doesn't just have to be some nice shots of a band playing some music. Why not make it more creative, and why not actually tell a story? So I think a general place to start would be to look for a kind of overall concept or message that you'd like to convey, and you can always use the song as some inspiration for the kind of genre of your film and the kind of mood that you want to present. And if you're really stuck for ideas, then why not just start by creating a character and give them a tough decision to make, and then just have the rest of the film be the results of that decision and how it affects them and the people around them. As far as finding musicians, the chances are wherever you live there'll be some kind of small bands who play some small gigs pretty regularly. So my advice would be to go to some concerts, go to some festivals, and try and talk to as many bands as you can, or even better, talk to the people who are organising those events, because they'll have loads and loads of contacts. There are also management companies, and these are basically where the musicians pay them to kind of produce their songs and distribute them. So part of that service is often making music videos. So you could contact them and, send them your reel, and you might end up becoming their kind of go-to filmmaker, or at least a kind of backup if their other person isn't available, and you could find yourself with loads of work through that, and in the very least just some good contacts with musicians. Another option would be the music video contests on Genero.tv. Now they've usually got some fairly well-known artists who are looking for a music video, and the kind of way it works is lots of people submit a music video and then they'll choose the best one and give them a cash prize. Usually it's like over a couple $1,000s. So this is a really good opportunity, especially if you kind of look at it as just a way to practice and get some experience, but also with that chance of getting your name out there as well as the cash prize. And of course, I did do another video all about how to make a music video. We looked at behind the scenes of every single stage of production, so I'll put a link on the blog post to that. As well as on the blog post, I'll put some links to the Genero website with their competitions, and of course, some of those management companies if you're interested in that. And I'll put a couple of music videos that I like and some other just kind of general information. So definitely check that out if you're interested, link in the description. But that's it for this week, and I'll see you next time.